So I moved there when I was 21 years old, and I was like, "Oh, this is a fresh start. This is great." Well, the drugs that I was doing in Phoenix weren't as easy to find, so I developed a crack habit.
Mm,
Um, I was never, one of those people that would like sell their baby sister for crack. Some people get really out there, but it was like a daily drinking, daily smoking weed, and crack from time to time, and cocaine or whatever. And so I realized, wow, like I I thought I was going to come out here and be different, and I'm not different. Um, and so I started making attempts at getting my life together. So there's a detox here in Charleston that I would go to, and I went to probably 7 to 10 times trying to get sober. And I would go to that detox, and I would stay in there for a week, get dried out, and I could pass a lie detector test and tell you, I'm never touching that stuff again. Like, I'm well now, I don't need that stuff. And on the way home from the detox, I would have a 12 pack of Milwaukee's Best Ice
mm,
and a crack rock, because um, like I didn't have a stopping problem. I had a staying stopped problem. That
mm,
was that was my real problem.
yeah.
And I had a spiritual sickness inside of me that until I was willing to deal with that and do the work, um, I wasn't going to be able to find any freedom. So after several attempts at this detox, I remember I was 27 years old. Um, my dad had actually moved to Charleston and still drinking heavily. He was letting me stay on his couch. 27 years old, didn't have a driver's license, didn't barely have a penny to my name except for what it was to drink that day. Like I said, sleeping on a couch, no wife, no prospects for even a girlfriend. Like, it was horrible. And it's crazy what things will do it sometimes. I remember this is when Spice got real
Mm,
popular.
yeah.
And a buddy of mine, was smoking, and he said, "Yeah, if you get some, make sure you take just a couple hits." Well, I was used to smoking marijuana, so I smoked the whole thing down, and I literally about lost my mind.
Yeah.
Um, and that scared me enough to say, "All right, I have to make an honest attempt at getting my life together." And I always tell people, like, I was never suicidal, but I was killing myself.
Yeah.
You know, I remember those foxhole prayers of going to bed at night and saying, "Jesus, if you're there, just help me to make it through the night."
Mm,
Right? Like I've done a lot of drugs today, and I don't know if I'm going to wake up in the morning, and I don't want to die, but I know I'm killing myself. And so all throughout those years, when I got in bad situations, I prayed those foxhole prayers, but there was never any kind of a relationship. And so I made this one last attempt at detox. I said, if I don't get this now, I don't know if I have any time left. And so I went into this detox, and something had shifted this time. Right, I got in there, and I really started talking to God in a way that I hadn't since I was 12 years old.
mm,
And something was telling me to read His Word and just start, discovering, what did He have to say about me? Is this really the answer to all my problems?
mm,
And something told me, like, and I know it was God, I know it was the Holy Spirit, that I could not just go to this detox and think I was going to get out and be well. I had to go to a long term recovery center. And
mm,
so, as scared as I was, I decided to ask for help for that. And so I went to a 4 month long recovery center. And this was the first time I'd ever made an attempt like this to really go for the long haul. And so I went to this place, and if you know anything about the Big Book,
mm.
it's the 12 steps. And this place I went to was like a Big Book boot camp. And
Okay.
so in step one, it says, we admitted that we were powerless, that our lives had become unmanageable. I was like, okay, all right, I can track with that. Like,
Mm,
so my problem is that I'm powerless, right? I understand that because I know if I got out of that detox and I went back home, I would be powerless and I would use again. So, all right, now I've diagnosed my problem. I've diagnosed my problem. So in step two, it says, we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. All right,
Mhm.
so I've got my problem. Now I've got my solution. Wow, we're really getting to work in these steps. And so that really caused me to do some really deep work, when it came to what did I really believe? Am I going to run with this whole Jesus thing, or am I going to try something else? And I knew in the back of my mind that I had to see if this thing was real, if this
Yeah.
God thing was real.